Opening yourself up to scrutiny and to peer review, what it does is it allows it allows the truth to be tested. It withstands the test of scrutiny, and the things that withstand is the truth. And that's literally, this comes from the ancient wisdom of knowing what the truth was, which they essentially likened the truth to a tree, which literally is etymologically linked. It shares etymological origins, the same root word of drew, which drew is the root word of druid, and it comes all the way from Proto-Indo-European root, which I believe was druva, the same root word of the Vedas in Hinduism, which I forget it off the top of my head, but it's the root word of the truth, because the truth is the root. It is the foundation. They consider that the truth was literally, in etymological origins, it was meaning steadfast, that which holds strong, firm, solid foundation. So we are talking about, in the biblical reference, your house built upon a foundation of stone, which will stand the test of time, which goes back to the ancient builders, the ancient advanced high civilization of advanced mathematics and also advanced human physiology, where they built the pyramids. They built megalithic foundational stone structures encoded with the truth, which would withstand the test of time and have withstood countless world global cataclysms, such as massive earthquakes, such as massive comet impacts, such as massive floods, and all of these seismic events and seismic activity. These structures are built on a foundation of truth, on a foundation of stone, as opposed to your house of cards being built upon the sand, where the big bad wolf, anybody can come along and huff and puff, and your whole structure, your whole foundation of reality gets blown asunder, because it was built on a pile of BS. Which is the very meaning of why the hierarchy of evidence is a pyramidal structure. It is built upon a foundation of solidity. And as you progress higher and higher, it's like running through the gauntlet. What emerges out the other side is the most distilled, purest form of truth that we can possibly come to. And so that's the closest to the universal truth, the underlying foundational truth of reality that we can get to. And, who knows? I don't think we can ever be perfect, but it is the process of scrutiny and of filtration of the information that allows us to get the closest that we possibly can. That's why these studies are the highest quality. And that is why opening yourself up to criticism and to scrutiny only makes you harder. It strengthens you. It makes you stronger. It makes you more firm and solid in your foundation of truth. Just as the ancient druids and the ancient wisdom of the tree, of the wise dome, of the wisdom of the wise tree, of the wizard, the knowledge of the foundational truth of the underlying structure of reality, where the tree stands fast, it stands firm, it stands strong, and it stands solid, as the root is the truth, the foundation, the source, the origin. Because obviously, again, as Drew literally means fixed, druid literally meaning one who is fixed in knowledge. And so, of course, fixation allows us to remain strong and steadfast. However, the true strength comes from, again, the perfect balance between flexibility and rigidity. It's a perfect golden mean, where it has to remain slightly more rigid than flexible, or vice versa, because being too rigid, or in other words too brittle, too fixed, will cause your structure to crumble, whereas being flexible is what allows the tree to bend before it breaks. And the more flexible it can be, the more strength that it will have, whereas you can't be too flexible or you won't have any rigidity and you won't be able to stand firm. So it has to be a perfect happy medium, a perfect golden mean ratio between flexibility and rigidity. And this applies obviously, of course, to the mind, where you cannot remain too fixed or rigid. You have to remain flexible and being able to bend and to absorb the shock, to be able to withstand the true test, the true testament of time. Just as all structures have to remain flexible, which is what made these ancient stone structures so powerful, and which is why our modern architecture now has to incorporate massive flexibility to incorporate for wind damage as well as seismic activity. Just as the tree has always done, has always remained flexible and able to bend under the weight of the wind or under the weight of seismic activity, which allows it to remain standing throughout the testament of time. Just as our bones cannot be too brittle, which is the balance between calcium and magnesium, whereas the magnesium is actually what makes the bones, what gives them their strength by the means of flexibility. And the more flexible the bones are, the less prone they are to breaking, whereas too much calcium will actually calcify the bones, make them brittle, and that's what actually causes fractures and breaks. Whereas the magnesium provides flexibility. So it's again that happy golden medium between the two. It's the twin pillars, once again, the twin pillars which provide true strength. I'd love to hear your comments on that in the section down below, so that way I can go through and read some of what you have to say about it. If this is the type of content that interests you, make sure to check out my full presentations as well as my further research, my further films, and my previous videos that you can find in the full archives at patreon.com/liftingtheveil. The link will be in the description below, and all my cited source links will be in that article description as well. And I'm sorry I didn't want to make this too long. I wanted to make this a short video. And as always, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my videos. If you enjoy this information, please share it around with anyone who you think might also appreciate the information. It's my greatest passion and my purpose and my mission is to continue to produce genuinely inspired and meaningful, uplifting content, intellectual pieces of art.
We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of just how much info is ready and waiting to be produced. I can't even keep up with the amount of output, let alone the amount of writing that is coming through. We haven't even gotten started yet. We are just warming up.
And so we just need to take care of this business, guys, because as it stands right now, I am not able to do this full time. I simply am not making enough to pay off the amount of effort that goes into these. So I can't practically do it right now. So we have to meet these minimum goals. Otherwise, I can't do this. Please help me continue in this mission. And check out the merch in the links below. Help support my channel that way, or support my channel on patreon.com/liftingtheveil. Links in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next video. There is so much more content coming up.